Tonight's story isn't just a chilling tale. It's a dark chapter of history soaked in blood. Before we dive into the shadows, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because this story comes from a place where death has never, ever left. This is the story of the Villisca Axe Murder House. Picture this: June 10th, 1912, the small, peaceful town of Villisca, Iowa. The Moore family, Josiah, Sarah, and their 4 young children had just returned home from a church event. With them were 2 young friends of the children, Lena and Ina Stillinger, staying for a sleepover. They all went to bed, safe in their home, with no idea it would be their last night on Earth. Sometime before dawn, an intruder crept into the quiet house. Armed with Josiah Moore's own axe, this unknown assailant moved from room to room. By the time the sun rose, a horrific discovery was made. All 8 people inside the house had been brutally murdered in their beds. The parents, Josiah and Sarah, had been struck with such unimaginable violence that their skulls were completely shattered. The children, all bludgeoned to death as they slept. The town of Villisca, once a symbol of rural peace, was plunged into a state of terror. The killer was never caught. The aftermath was pure chaos and fear. Doors that were never locked were now bolted shut. Neighbors who had been friends for years began eyeing each other with suspicion and dread. Dozens of suspects were investigated, from a traveling preacher to a state senator, but no one was ever convicted. The investigation was a mess of mishandled evidence and conflicting theories, leaving a gaping wound in the heart of the community. The Moore house, once a family home, became a monument to an unsolved massacre, a place no one dared to enter. And that's when the whispers began. Locals started saying that an evil presence had been left behind, something that clung to the very walls of the house. Soon, people started reporting strange occurrences. The sound of phantom footsteps echoing in empty rooms, the soft, sorrowful cries of children drifting through the hallways. And sometimes a sound that would freeze the blood in your veins, the chilling scrape of an axe being dragged across the wooden floor. As the decades passed, the house's dark reputation only grew. It transformed from a crime scene into one of America's most haunted locations. Countless paranormal investigators, psychics, and curious visitors have stepped through its doors, and many have reported terrifying, unexplainable encounters. A common report is the sight of shadowy figures, tall and menacing, standing at the foot of the children's beds, just watching. Others have heard disembodied whispers calling their names in the dead of night, as if trying to lure them deeper into the darkness. One woman reported feeling an icy touch on her arm, only to discover 3 long, angry red scratch marks left by unseen hands. Electronic voice phenomenon, or EVP recordings, have captured some of the most disturbing evidence. In the silent rooms, sensitive microphones have picked up the unmistakable sounds of children screaming in terror, followed by a deep, guttural man's voice growling a single, terrifying command: "Get out!" The activity in the house isn't just auditory or visual, it's become physical. In 2014, a paranormal investigator named Robert Lowerson Jr. was spending the night inside the house as part of a recreational ghost hunt. At approximately 12:45 a.m., just as the night was reaching its darkest point, his companions found him. He had been stabbed in the chest with his own knife. Miraculously, he survived the injury, but when questioned, Lowerson had no memory of hurting himself. He claimed it was a self-inflicted wound, but to this day, he can't explain what compelled him to do it. The incident remains a complete mystery. Locals and paranormal experts have a chilling theory. They believe the spirits inside the house don't just haunt. They can possess the living. They can influence your thoughts, your actions, and drive you to do things you would never imagine. Today, the Villisca Axe Murder House is still standing and open to visitors for both historical tour and overnight paranormal investigations. But those who dare to spend the night often find they can't last until morning. The reports are consistent and deeply unsettling. Doors slam shut on their own, locking people in rooms. Objects like toys and clothes are seen moving from one place to another without any explanation. Many guests leave with unexplained scratches, bruises, and a profound sense of dread that follows them for weeks, invading their nightmares. Over a century has passed since that horrific night in June 1912, but the house feels as if it's still holding its breath, trapped in the echoes of the tragedy. The air is heavy with sorrow and anger, and some say the malevolent spirit of the killer never truly left the scene of the crime. So, let me ask you, would you dare to spend a single night in a house where 8 people were mercilessly murdered in their sleep? A house where the killer was never found, and where something dark still lingers in the shadows. If you crave more terrifying true stories like this one, make sure you subscribe to our channel now and step into the darkness with us. Thank you for watching, and be careful, because the next story we share might just haunt you forever.